Fellow travelers, Happy New Year. This is Damon. Amata is not available tonight. We are getting ready for a trip to New York for the weekend. But with me again is Mike Bloxam and Brian Greene from Our Place.
Happy New Year, Damon. Happy New Year, Brian.
Happy New Year.
Oh, I just heard my kid crying, but oh well, yeah. But anyway, we're back with the second part of season 1 of Quantum Leap, because now we know it's their second season.
Yeah.
And episode 9, Fellow Travelers. Interesting title. Ben lands in 1979, Chicago, as Jack Armstrong, a devoted security guard to talented pop singer Carly Farmer. During Carly's prep for a big concert, it quickly becomes clear her life is in danger, and Ben must determine who is trying to kill her and why. The leap date was April 24th, 1979. He leaped into Jack Armstrong, as the synopsis said. So I just want to try to go through our notes pretty quickly because, I want to get a quick little review. But your first impressions, guys, whoever wants to go first.
Okay. Well, I love the episode. I thought it flowed really smooth. I thought we got a lot more leap than HQ in the past, but there was a lot packed into the HQ. I don't feel like we got a whole lot more story from the HQ side of it.
Yeah,
I would have liked to have seen more in like a comeback from hiatus type of episode. But maybe we'll get some more next week.
Yeah. Yeah, before you go, Mike, I'll just mention we had the new intro too, like the new. Remember, I said that we I think it's the saga cell was going to evolve as it went on, and it was kind of like a recap of previously on almost. So
yeah.
I just wanted to throw that out there before I forgot. Anyway,
right, to bring us back from hiatus.
Yeah. So Mike, what about you?
Yeah, I agree with Brian. I really liked it. It flowed well. We got a lot of leap story. We talked about this on some of the earlier episodes about caring about the characters in the time period where Ben has leaped. So it was interesting to see some familiar actors in this episode as well. I've seen Deborah Ann Wall before.
Yes.
For the comic book fans, she was in Daredevil as Karen, and
Karen Page. Yep.
Before that, I'm a little ashamed to admit I used to watch True Blood, and she was a character called Jessica on True Blood. So her face was very familiar, and I'm always amazed by her acting ability. She really grabs onto a character, and she doesn't get pigeonholed. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. And the fellow who played Trevor was an actor called Daniel Bonjour, and he was in The Walking Dead for 3 episodes.
Oh, okay.
So I saw his face. I had to look it up on IMDb to see where I knew him from, but
you could have checked Al's place. I mean, it's right there, Mike. Come on.
All right, that's a good plug. That's a good reminder.
Yeah.
It was good. I enjoyed it. It was a nice return to Quantum Leap, and interestingly, they called out the date. I think this was the first episode where they actually verbally spoke the entire date. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like in all the other ones they just said the year, or it was flashed on the screen, or it was hidden somewhere in clues. But I think it was the first time it was actually in the script.
You might be right. Yeah, or it was like at the very beginning.
Yeah, when I'm doing the episode guide pages, it takes me a while to figure out what the date is because they say it in different spots, like the year here and the month here and the date. So I'm having to plug it through. In the one
in Atlantis, maybe they said it.
Yeah, I think they said it there.
Yeah.
But the one where it was the bounty hunter, the only way you knew the date was because it was Princess Diana's wedding.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my, I did do a rewatch of it. Maybe it's just from doing the reviews and stuff, and just now I'm like looking for things. Like I'm not sitting enjoying it in the beginning. I know some people in the podcasts have said that too. So initially I was like okay, I kind of liked it, but there were some things I didn't like, and then I rewatched it. I'm like, okay, I'm liking it a little bit better. I did like the story. I think it's what you said, Brian, that I feel like for the leap stuff, I mean, not the leap stuff, the project stuff, there wasn't much significance of development of the story, so I think I felt a little let down by that. I mean, I know that we're kind of skipping ahead, that they captured Janice.
Right, but you saw that in the trailer that they aired back in, November or whatever that was, and
Right.
so
Well,
you kind of already knew. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I mean, but it was a nice, it was pretty good. I kind of like the parallel with Glitter Rock and the whole the song,
Yeah.
which was Traveling On.
Yeah.
I didn't like the acoustic version so much, but the first version, after I'm like, okay, this is kind of catchy. There's like and there's like a Fleetwood Mac thing to the beginning.
I wanted to hear the whole song. I was hoping they would play the whole song, so maybe we'll get that sometime or another on the DVD, Blu-ray or whatever.
Yeah, right. Same thought.
Yeah. No, it is. It's a pretty good song. Yeah, I mean, the whole parallels Ben's journey, leaping from one place to another, just like with Sam and Fate's Wide Wheel, which is that seems to be like that recurring theme is the whole traveling and not knowing what you're.
I did like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did like that. I mean, even down to the whole fact of that it wasn't that Ben was going to be the one murdered, but that she was going to be murdered, and they had to figure out who was going to kill her out of all these different suspects. Although we got that murder mystery thing like 2 episodes ago. So maybe that's also why I was like this is a little more of the same. But yeah, it was still pretty interesting. So let me let's see. Going through the notes, I like that how they tracked down Janice. They used Janice's own. Was that what Janice did to predict, like, the algorithm,
right?
What they were going to do. So Ian used it against her to figure out where she was, and they tracked it down to Belize. Mm-hmm. So this is the first time we got like outside of the country.
Right.
Right. Now,
I think the budget must have gone up a little bit for this. So yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah, and I didn't pay attention to the amount of time. How long does it take to get there? That seemed to all happen within.
It did seem like she was there very quickly. Yes.
Yeah, like she got there and then they brought her back, and it was like all within within like a day.
Right. That seemed a little off, but government money, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else had pointed that out.
If they had an aircraft, I don't know how long the flight to Belize is from LA, but it wouldn't be more than a few hours, I think.
Yeah.
It could be done, I guess, but that's. Yeah.
Yeah, they pointed out that it also, like, how it only had like a few dozen people on staff in one jet. Right? I think that's what Magic said, right? Something like that. But yeah, it was pretty believable that Addison was kind of pissed that Ben didn't tell her like that. You think that was something that was pretty important, like I leaped to save you, and like you think that would be something that he would have told his fiance.
Right. Well, there's got to be more to it. He just hasn't remembered it yet. Because the phone call in the episode 1 says this is bigger than all of us.
Yeah, and they call that back too.
There's something else. There's something else.
So they even call back to that, saying, "Are we saving her life?" Or they didn't say she dies. They just said that we have to save her from something.
From something, right?
Right. What else? They kind of brought in Al again, talking about how much of a hero he was. I appreciated that. Mm-hmm. I think more specifically was he
joke about his clothes. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Questionable fashion choices.
Questionable fashion choices.
Yeah. Pretty funny. But specifically that he was a hero because he used technology to help people, and then was it Janice that said, "Well, he didn't do it alone." That was a nice little. You didn't say Sam, but you said Sam.
Right.
But also implying that the team can't be trusted. That why did he come to me and nobody else? So I don't know where they're going with that. I hope that they're not implying that there's like one of the core people is like going to turn against them. Maybe it's just a situation that's in the future. I don't know if it's Addison is going to do something, or I don't know. I'm talking a lot. What, anything you guys want to bring up that?
Well, I mean, there was a lot more hologram stuff in this one. If you look close, that was good.
Yeah.
Still not walking through things. I wanted to walk through some walls. Damn it. But
well, on that point, though, the one little plot hole, if you want to call it, I thought was when the car went racing by, trying to run them down in the alley. Normally, Al would have, centered himself on the vehicle and followed it and found out who the driver was. And that was my immediate thought was, have Addison center on that car. And
right. Can she not do that? I mean, does she have to be there right with him in this one or something? Yeah, that's a good question.
Right. I think both times we watched it, Amada said the same thing. She's like, why don't you go after her? Why don't you go after the car, Addison?
Yeah.
She's just standing there letting it go by. Yeah, we said that both times. Ben got stabbed. Like, it was pretty serious injury he got at the end. I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but
you got to see the hand link close up.
Oh yeah, that thing.
That was a good shot of that.
When she first shows up and she's hitting the mute button, and it's like I guess that's Ziggy trying to get her attention. Like something's about to happen. You're busy talking about right, because she's shutting it down because she wants to talk to him because she's upset with him, and I caught that. I'm like, oh, they're trying to tell you to something's about to happen, Addison, and you're busy talking to him and arguing with him.
Right. Yeah, I was letting her know that the light was about to fall. So
right.
Yeah.
I will just say I think my biggest issue with this, which is it's kind of been brought up too. I think the one Allison says it in the Quantum Leap podcast is sometimes this feels like it's two different shows competing with each other. So like when something's going on at the project, if it's not totally connected to what's going on in the leap, it takes me out of it a little bit. So I felt it. I mean, I guess it was a little bit better this time because we're getting there. But it's like if I don't care about what's going on in the story, I think, which is why I said I was a little disappointed that there's not much more going on with the story to progress that story. Like I guess that's my biggest thing is just I just want there to be a little more connective tissue to make it seem like it's worth it for us to see the project.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I think even Amada said it too at the commercial break or something. He's like, is this NCIS or is this Quantum Leap? I guess that's just where I'm going with that. It's some of the stuff that I wanted to bring up a little bit if we had done our mid-season review thing, but I didn't really have time for that. But overall, I did enjoy the episode. I think it took a while to kind of get back into this because we've been gone for so long. It's like 2 months. So, but I feel like there's more I want to say, but I don't have like I said, my notes aren't specific with stuff. I'm just, I kind of like when he just like he kicked out Trevor, like when he thought that Trevor was like what was the whole story with the letters or something? He didn't tell her about, and then he said, "Oh, you're fired." Right. And then he just kicked him out. It was like, I'm thinking like my wife would have said like, "Bye, Felicia." It's one of those moments where it was just like, he didn't even let him talk, which I thought was kind of funny. Addison points out we were a team because she feels that mistrust that like, how come she wasn't told about any of this? Like it's her own fate. You know, you think she'd have some say in it. I don't know. I feel like that. I guess the other thing is too with the when we finally found out who the one who killed her was, it kind of came out of left field a little bit. I I feel like we didn't get enough of like they were making us think it was the sister Jamie, then they're thinking it was Trevor, right? The right, her manager or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it ended up being the one of the backup singers, and we didn't see much of her. So it did seem like it came out of nowhere a little bit. I don't know what you guys thought about that.
Yeah, watching it a second and third time, making pages and things, you see it the second time because you already know what to look for. So you can sort of, the rewatch is honestly better than the first watch, I think.
Yeah, that's where I was with that. It was easier watching it the second time.
Yeah.
Anything else, Mike?
Yeah, I've only watched it once, but I don't know. I kind of suspected one of the backup singers at first, and then when they were kind of pushing us toward the manager, I said, it's not the manager. I mean, maybe he wrote the notes, but he's not the one trying to kill her. I wasn't expecting him to profess his love for her later, but but yeah, they I guess they made the comment in the bar. They said, "Oh, isn't she seeing somebody?" And then they said something, "Oh, well, she's always looking for her future ex-husband," something to that effect. So maybe that was the hint there that she was seeing Trevor, but that wasn't really explored anywhere else in the episode. So I mean, on first watch.
I just there's not. I know we're kind of going a little short, but there's not much I can really think about with this because it was a pretty straightforward story. I think.
Cut and chase. Yeah, cut to the chase. It was a good episode, but I mean, it wasn't a lot of earth-shattering things that happened in it or anything. So yeah.
I mean, it was strong. I felt it could have been stronger coming back from the hiatus, but I guess with Janice, now she's in the mix, and then now they got her there. We'll probably start getting a lot of answers now. Just depends on what we're actually how slowly they're going to dole those answers out. One thing I think I hadn't mentioned it the past few reviews that we've done, Mike, but have you guys noticed the pattern of the leaps that has been going backward, forward, backward, forward? I
hadn't thought about it. Okay.
When you thinking about the slingshot effect that they talked about, he starts in 2022, so we went back to 1985, then it's the 90s, back, forward, back, forward. So if this pattern continues, the next leap should be past 1979. It should be closer to our time.
Interesting. I hadn't thought about it.
I noticed that. I was just okay, we keep going. I mean, it makes sense with what they said that there's a whole slingshot going on. So does that mean that at some point he's going to go really far back and then into the future? Because I'm going by the idea that in the season finale, episode 18, he'll leap into the future. That's where I'm going with that theory.
Right. Yeah, I'm wondering what they're going to do. Are they going to wrap up this storyline at the end of the season and start a new storyline at the project, or are they just going to continue this on, for a while?
Well, I think that this particular story, I mean, that I think that's what the producers had all been saying is they were going to wrap it up somehow, whether it was in, like you said in episode 3, it could be 10 leaps, it could be 20.
I like that. Yeah.
So I think they are planning to wrap up the story, but now they know what they wanted. They can do something for a second season now. Whether that means, do you think they might change the leapers up? You think Ben's going to actually stay home and maybe there'll be more control over what's going on? Or
Interesting. Well, Addison was supposed to be the leaper, so yeah.
Right. I still feel that the part of the reason why Ben did this is because she originally was the leaper in the future, and Ben leaping has done something to alter that trajectory. And something would have happened if she had leaped like she was supposed to, and maybe that is where Martinez comes into play. We haven't seen anything from him yet. Why they introduced him, that's not just a red herring. I mean,
yeah, I thought we would see a little bit more of him this time, but still nothing.
Yeah, it's got to be something to it if it's
He was actually in the opening credits of the episode that aired before hiatus, but he wasn't in it.
Yeah.
But his name showed up, so that was
brought that up in the review too. That why was his name there and he didn't show up? I don't know why. I was looking for him. I'm like, no, he's not there.
Not in
it. Yeah. So, any other thoughts, guys? Or
on that trajectory, they mentioned in the recap that it was. They said that, this experiment was years away from even being tested. So the fact that Ben leapt in 2022, we don't know when. If he hadn't, when would Addison have actually leaped, and maybe Martinez as well?
Yeah.
And well, if Martinez, now that he's changed history.
Yeah. Well, if Martinez, if he's really in the future leaping, what if Addison sometime in the future also leapt, or he knew something about it, leapt back in time and somehow, told Ben and he just doesn't remember it yet, something like that. So I don't know. Yeah.
I might have been mentioned somewhere, and I kind of picked up on the theory that maybe 6 months ago, like somebody leaped back, and that's like Ben met them from the future. Could have been like maybe Addison leaped from the future and told him something, and again, it's this whole point of like this was like the only solution he came up with, that this is the only way to save her. So I don't know, and I keep thinking it goes back to the government deciding that they're going to be doing something else. I mean, why did they throw in the whole thing with a congresswoman as well? Like that was a little seed that they planted. It has to all be connected somehow.
Yeah,
at least that's what I'm thinking. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. I did notice that one of the co-writers, it was Dean Georgaris and Drew Lindo, who wrote Somebody Up There Likes Ben, which we thought was like really great episode.
Yeah,
that was the first one that really felt like Quantum Leap. So I guess that's why this is this felt like pretty good, like classic type of Quantum Leap story. Yeah. I haven't told them out of much, but they did say that Deborah Pratt is going to be directing episode 13.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I don't know how her directing skills are. We know how we love her writing. I hope she writes an episode at some point.
Yes.
But that'll be cool to see. All we know for certain is what next week is, which is he leaps into a female doctor. I think the synopsis is something about, I think it's in Seattle or something.
Yeah, there's a train wreck.
Yeah, it's a train wreck. He's like a resident, I think, and he has to. I don't even have the synopsis pulled up, but it's something about he has to go up against the hospital bosses and to save the career of this woman that he leaps into.
Oh,
right.
So it's called Paging Dr. Song. So that is episode 10. That is next week. We should be back just in time to watch that one.
All right.
Anything else we think of before we wrap it up, or?
Can't think of a thing.
No, I'm good for the moment.
Okay. Yeah, this is going to be pretty short one, but I'm, like I said, we're in a rush to get ready to leave. So by the time this video is uploaded, I will probably be in New York. I'm going to edit it while I'm there. All right, everyone. So, fellow travelers, that was our review of episode 9 of Quantum Leap. But we're halfway through the season officially. Yay!
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So I guess we'll catch up next week. If you want to do it with us, Brian, it'll be great. We might be trying something different with our setup. I've been meaning to, but it's just been busy with the holidays and everything. So hopefully this turns out okay. So I'm Damon.
Thanks for having me again.
Yep. This is Mike, Brian. Till next time, everybody. Bye.
Keep on traveling.
Keep on traveling.